actually my latest pattern. It's called the Heartbreaker. Now I call it the Heartbreaker because of this cute heart shape on the bag. The bag measures 6 inches tall by 10 inches wide. Now it does have a recessed zipper, but don't let that scare you. Once we get busy sewing, I'm going to show you how easy it is to cut down a zipper and install a recessed zipper. You'll be wanting to put recessed zippers on everything. So now having said all that, let's head to the sewing machine and get started. Now I've done a little prep work for us. I went ahead and cut out all of my fabrics, but before I did that though, what I like to do first, I like to starch my fabrics. And I like to use faultless starch. I like to spray my fabrics really well, let it soak into the fibers, and then iron them. I believe it gives them body, it gives them crispness, and it helps cut better. It just overall gives it a more professional look to it. Okay, so once we've done that, I've went ahead and stabilized all the pattern pieces too. So I've used fusible fleece on this one, and then I've used a core bond on this, and all of this is in the instructions that's going to come with the pattern. Then I have taken my 2 template A's and sewn them together using a 1/2 inch. Now you can see that I cut out a corner in each one here. This one's already been stitched together, but I want to show you how to box your corners is what they call it. So I went ahead and did this one. So the easiest way that I've found to box your corners is to just stick your hand in here. Now, people like to say it's kind of a triangle, and if it had a tip on it, it probably would be. But you want to align your seams, and I'm just going to use a pin to hold it in place. And I'm going to take it over to the sewing machine. So I already have my machine set up to stitch a 1/2 inch. So I use the width of my presser foot, and I've adjusted my needle to accommodate the 1/2 inch. And I am just going to stitch, do a little back stitching here. I'm going to stitch a 1/2 inch across. Move my needle. And a little back stitching again. I'm going to trim my threads, and voila, I have just boxed the second corner. So you can see now that I have boxed both the corners. Now I'm going to take it to the ironing board, and I'm going to press these seams, both of them, really well, press them open, and I'm going to do the bottom too. This is going to give it some stability. And we're going to turn it right side facing out. And we've got the first part of our bag finished. So I like to buy longer zippers than what I need. I like to keep them on hand because I never know what I'm going to be sewing. Plus I like to cut the zippers down because I don't like to have to deal with the bar tacks on each side. I like to make my own bar tacks. So I want to show you how to do that. Now first of all, you have to decide what size zipper that you need for your pattern. Now this one I call for a 10-inch zipper. Now clearly this is bigger than a 10-inch zipper. So what I've done is I've just laid it on my cutting mat. And I like to use my cutting mat so I know that it's accurate. I'm going to take my friction marker, and I'm going to mark the first mark here just past the zipper pull. And then I'm going to measure down 10 inches and I'm going to make another mark. Okay, so let's take this to our sewing machine. Now to prepare your sewing machine, you want to pick your zigzag stitch, and you want to make your zigzag as tight as you can. And then I make the stitch width, I usually do about 5.3. The other thing you want to do that's important is drop your feed dogs. My feed dogs happen to be on the side of my sewing machine. Sometimes they're underneath your sewing machine. Just refer to your manual to find out where yours are located. So I'm going to drop my feed dogs. My machine's going to beep at me and tell me I've dropped my feed dogs. I'm going to put my needle in the down position, and I'm going to do a tacking stitch or a tack bar tight zigzag stitch to right over the zipper. And this, my machine's telling my feed dogs are down, and this is just going to give me a bar tack right there. And I'm gonna leave my needle in the down position and leave my zipper in here, and I'm gonna show you a little trick. So I'm gonna use this as my third hand. So I'm gonna take the zipper tab and I'm gonna pull it past my first mark. I'm gonna take some pins and I'm going to pin it in place because I wanna hold the zipper as close as I can. It's easier when you have this down, the presser foot down and the needle down to hold it. And I'm just gonna cut that and move it down so I can make the next bar tag. And remember to unzip your zipper past the mark. And we're gonna do the same thing. We're just gonna make a bar tag right over this. And I'm going to trim my threads. And there we go. We have made 2 bar tacks now. I'm going to remove my pins and I'm going to trim my zipper. Now you want to trim about 1/4 of an inch past the bar tack. And you're going to do that at the front and the back. You're going to get a zipper that looks like this. So now we need to attach our zipper tabs. I've got the zipper tab right here, but I want to fold under 1/4 inch on each side. But the way I like to do that to make sure that it's accurate is I like to sew 1/4 inch. So I just set my sewing machine up. Remember to raise your feed, dogs. I've already done that. Now I'm going to stitch down 1/4 inch. I'm just going to do one side here for time's sake. And I'm going to stitch 1/4 inch down here and then take and fold that over to, I've got one already done so you can kind of see here, to where both of them are 1/4 inch. So we're going to conceal the raw edges there. Then the next thing that we're going to do for the zipper tabs is we're going to fold this in half and we're going to press real good. So I would do this at the ironing board. And then we've got to conceal these raw edges. So we're going to fold that in the center and that to the center and fold this. And we're going to take this and we're going to attach it to the end of our zipper. Just make a little zipper sandwich there. And then you're going to stitch all the way around, just edge stitch all the way around. And you're going to get something that looks like this. And what we want to do next is we want to attach the zipper casing. Now in the instructions it tells you on the casing too that you want to fold the short ends down 1/4 inch. Use the same method that I just did by stitching them down and folding it in. But don't stitch it down just yet, and I'll show you why. Then you want to fold it in half. Then we're going to find the center. Just like we did on this, we're going to match up the centers and you can see that I've marked it. And I'm going to take and line that up with the center mark, and then I'm just going to pin to hold it in place. I've done it on both sides here. Now the reason why that I like to leave this open, the zipper casing, is just in case you make a mistake and you need to make one longer than the other, or you've got it slightly off center, you can adjust it if you don't stitch those down. So just make sure you leave them open and then you can fold them under 1/4 inch, or if you need to adjust it less, go ahead and do that. Okay, so we have put these together. Now to make our zipper casing, we've found the center. Now we're going to attach it to the lining. And this is super easy to do. Wasn't the zipper easy? So we have found the center of template B, we found the center of template C, and we found the center of our zipper casing, and we're just going to line them all up. I'm going to pin in place. We're going to place the zipper face up the zipper tab face up, so it's going to be, if this were the wrong side, it would be wrong side to right side there. And this is going to be face down, so it's going to be right side to right side. We're going to pin it in place right there in the center. And then we're just going to stitch with a 1/2 inch along that.
See how easy that was? We have the zipper completely installed. Now we just want to sew together the lining. So I'm going to take this to keep it out of the way. I'm going to take this and I'm going to pin it to the zipper casing. And I'm going to do this on each side. Down at the bottom, we're going to have to cut the corners out so we can box those corners like we did in the exterior. Let's pin it together first. So I've got my small ruler and I'm going to mark 1.5 inches for the instructions. I'm going to do this on each side. And this is just going to be my guidelines to cut it out. And now we're going to stitch. We're going to stitch with a 1/2 inch all the way around, but we're going to leave an opening at the bottom big enough for us to stick our hand in here. Okay, so I have inserted our zipper. Super easy, wasn't it? Now we've went ahead and sewn with a 1/2 inch down the side. I went ahead and boxed our corners too, but I left a hole for us to turn the bag inside out. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to insert it in here. So it's going to be right sides together. And we're going to pin it so we can stitch around it because we want to join it together. And we're almost done, guys. So now we're just going to take it back to the sewing machine and I'm going to stitch all the way around to stitch them together, and then I'm going to pull it out through the bottom. So I have notched in here to help maintain the cute heart shape, and then I went ahead and notched about 1/4 inch all the way around. I've trimmed this side, so I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Now this makes a little bit of a mess here, but it's worth it. Now this is my favorite tool. This is a point turner by Clover by Lazy Girl. It has a pointed end there and then it's got a flat end here, and I love to use this, so I just stick it in here. I love to use this to help my seams lie flat. So I'll just go around the seam that we just sewed, joining the two, the exterior and the interior. And then we're going to stitch this up. Now you can, if you want, you could hand stitch this, whip stitch it I think as they call it. I prefer to use my sewing machine, and I'll use my edge stitch foot to help get close to close the bottom up. I'm going to take this to the ironing board and I'm going to press all around it inside, and I'm going to get the corners to where it gives it a cute shape, and we have a finished product. So in just a matter of minutes, we've made this adorable bag. You sat here and watched me sew and put it together, and if I can do it, I know you can do it too. I hope this has helped you conquer your fear of zippers. There's nothing to zippers, it's just the technique and knowing how to use them. We didn't even use a zipper foot on this. Now I do have other patterns that use the same technique. I've got the Kiss and Makeup bag, and I've also got the My Retreat bag that combines embroidery and the recessed zipper. So I hope you'll check those out too.